Hi, I'm Emily. Welcome to this week's Mega Football TV.
On this week's Mega Football TV, we'll be taking a closer look at the picks on Spurs v Manchester United. So Alex Ferguson's last trip to the capital ended in defeat at Emirates. Will that happen again at the Lane? West Ham travel to Chelsea, but at the moment Stamford Bridge isn't quite the fortress that Big Phil's boys want it to be. We'll also be looking in depth at the late strikes in the League of last-minute goals to help you along with those picks. Remember, at Pick'em, the house can never win, so the people with the top 40 predictions will get a share of that guaranteed minimum £1,000 prize pool. The first entry is free to all new users, and if you get every single prediction correct, you'll receive a massive £1 million jackpot. So keep watching the video for more of my tips and some stats to help you out. We'll kick off this week with a big well done to the winner of week 6, Rob Young, who managed a correct 9 out of 15 predictions to receive that £500 first prize. Rob sneaked the win by just 40 points to beat Bacon Bubble, who also managed 9 correct predictions, but just fell short of Rob's score, despite managing better 2 correct minute of first goal picks. Rob's great call on Fulham to draw with Manchester City won the day for him. Without it, Bacon Bubble would have won and Rob would have finished up in 7th place, but he wasn't the only one. Looks like a few of our players have been keeping an eye on the Jekyll and Hyde of Man City's home and away form. As you can see, nearly half of Pick'em players guess that City's mega millions might struggle against last season's relegation favourites, Fulham. The top 4 all managed to win this week, with 82% of Pick'em players correctly predicting them to do so, in the process bagging 2,600 points. That made week 6 a very high scoring week. Normally around about 6,500 points would be enough to finish in top spot, but this week it was only good enough to finish around 15th. Not a single pair predicted anything but a United win last weekend against Sunderland, so I'm sure Vidic's last-minute winner was very pleasing to all of you. We'll wrap up last week's review with a quick roundup of some of the headlines that caught our eye. Michael Owen's contract at St James's Park is up at the end of the season and he could leave for free, with Scolari, who may well be looking for Drogba's replacement soon, said to be on the front runner for Owen's signature. Roy Keane, not used to losing or struggling, leaves Sunderland in a huff as 30 more managers line up to take his place. Amongst those mentioned are bookies' favourites Allardyce, Kerbishley, Reid, Houllier, Avram Grant and Martin Jol. Robinho's outburst didn't get him a fine, but did get him a seat on the bench against Fulham. On Robinho's reported list are Kaka, Thiago Silva, Santos fullback Kleber, Luis Ronaldo and just about anyone else in the Brazilian national team. Bring on the January sales, I say. This week's big game sees Spurs take on United at White Hart Lane. Spurs this season has improved dramatically since the arrival of Harry Redknapp, but they face a stern test against United. The match winner pick may look like a home banker based on past meetings between Spurs and Manchester United. The sides have met 21 times in the league in the last 10 years, with Spurs managing just 2 wins in that time, the last of which came way back in 2001, with Willem Corsten the hero for Spurs that day. But before you make your mind up, it might be worth remembering stranger things have happened already this season. Aston Villa managed their first away win against Arsenal in more than 15 years, and Chelsea's run of 86 games undefeated at home was brought to an end. The important thing to look at is United's away record this season. They currently sit 8th in the league of away results. United have only managed to score an average of 1 goal per game away from home so far, and only one side in the top 12 have managed less away goals this season, so it might not be as easy as it first seems. Spurs score even less goals at home than United do away. In fact, they average less than 1 goal per game. In the last 15 outings, Spurs have only managed more than 1 goal in 4 occasions, so you might just fancy the draw on this one. Despite Spurs' revival under Harry Redknapp, I still can't see past a United win at White Hart Lane. So I'm going to go for Sir Alex Ferguson to take all 3 points. For this game, we're also looking at total shots on target. United managed 10 on target against Sunderland last weekend, and they have an average of 7 shots on target so far this season. Spurs, on the other hand, have one of the lowest averages in the league at 4.5 per game. So, based on that, you might want to go for around about 10 or 11. Another little stat that might help you is around about half the games last weekend had a total of 9 shots on target. So 9 was the lucky number last weekend, but it is a stat that does swing wildly around in the Premier League. Despite this, I'm going to go for that lucky number from last week and predict 9 shots on target. Chelsea v West Ham next, but before we get stuck into this game, credit is due to those Chelsea boys who managed to break Spurs' record, which has been standing for 50 years, when they managed their 11th consecutive away win in the Premier League. The home record is a different story though. In fact, Chelsea have the same record at the Bridge as Man U do away, and it's not that good. It only means they're 9th in the home league tables. The Hammers have only managed 1 win and 4 goals in their last 9 Premier League matches, and their home record is as woeful as their away record. Even though Chelsea's home record isn't that great, I still can't see past a Chelsea win on this one. They'll be welcoming back one of their great, Gianfranco Zola, but once that whistle blows, no love will be lost between the sides. But as I said, Chelsea win for me. For this game, we're also asking you if there's going to be more than 2 goals. If we look at the averages of Chelsea's games at home, they've managed an average of 1.8 goals so far this season. Well, West Ham away have managed a measly 0.8 goals so far. So if you add those averages up, it gives you a big fat maybe. As you can see, it's very tight on this pick, with both teams managing to be involved with high-scoring games pretty often. As we said, these stats aren't helping you too much. Is there going to be more than 2 goals in this game? I don't think so. Finally, we're asking you how many late goals will be scored in these 5 games featured in this pick'em. We've already made a big fuss about the number of late Premier League goals in this season, and last weekend didn't disappoint. In the 9 games that we featured on the pick'em, there was a total of 8 late goals in the last 10 minutes. Around 1 in 5 of all goals scored in the Premier League happened in the last 10 minutes of matches, as players get tired and make more mistakes, and the big teams search for more match-winning goals. Don't forget, for this pick though, we're only including the 5 games that are included in the pick'em. So if you look at the stats, you might be sensible to go for around about 2 or 3, but of course it depends on how the game pans out and who's playing who. As you can see, Everton have been involved in a lot of frantic scrapes at the end of games, and Chelsea, well, no drama in their games, but they are playing West Ham, who have one of the worst records in the league for conceding late goals. Taking into account all these stats, I'm going to go for 3 late goals. This week we'll leave you with some dodgy Premier League lookalikes. In 3rd place, Everton record signing and new boy Fellaini, who's already clocked up 7 yellow cards this season, otherwise known as Samuel Screech Powers. In 2nd place, hated member of the Cockney Mafia and owner of Newcastle United, Mike Ashley, otherwise known as Bobby from King of the Hill. And our favourite lookalike, comical Spurs baddie and so-called goalkeeper Aurelio Gomez, otherwise known as Count Von Count. Thanks for making everyone but Spurs fans smile.